broadcasting worldwide from Washington, D.C. to anywhere you are at brightradio.org. Go mobile and download the app on Google Play and the App Store, and listen on social media with Facebook, playing cross-cultural Christian music all day, all the time. This is Bright Radio.
Girl talk, dating, parenting, spirituality. We're talking about all things pertaining to single women. And yes, married women, I got something for you too. No topic is off limits on the Linda D. Lowe Show. Welcome to the Linda D. Lowe Show. I want to thank you all again for joining me for another episode, another Thursday night. And if you don't know, this is my last episode, and I'm going on break until August. So definitely come past my YouTube channel, check me out and all my other shows over there, and I'll let you know my website, www.lindadlowe.com. And tonight we have a great show topic called Creating Love, Selflessness, Honesty, and Commitment. And joining me on tonight's show, I have Phil here from the Real Phil Show. What's up, Phil?
What's going on?
I have LJ joining me. Hey, LJ.
Hello.
And I have Vic right here down there on the end. What's up, Vic?
Good evening.
Good. I just love it. He is hilarious.
Like that from now on.
So it begins.
Yeah, I just want to again thank you all so much for joining me on this episode as we talk about this topic of love. And we know that so many people want love. So many people are looking for love. And I talked about last week how marriage is on the decline, and you have 50%, a little bit over 50% of the population is single. However, about 25-30% of that 50-some% population, people are still entering into long-term relationships because they're looking to have that someone next to them. They're looking to have that companion to do stuff with. They're looking to have somebody to talk to go through this life together with. And so everybody is, well, I'm not going to say I am going to say everybody. Everybody does want to be loved, whether if it's in the spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, babe, boo type relationship, or if it's from a parent, if it's from a sibling, if it's from a friend. Everybody wants to be loved, and they crave that need to be loved. So let's talk about love here, creating love, selflessness, honesty, and commitment. And I know when I talked about creating this particular show, I wanted to come from a perspective of how can we as a Black community come together and be stronger, be better. How can we as individuals be whole within ourselves? Because a lot of us, and this isn't just in the Black community, but a lot of us are broken, and we are carrying around that brokenness. And it shows in our everyday walk, our everyday talk, how we interact with one another, whether if it's an attitude. I was reading, and we're very all familiar with how, and not to pick on the guys, but I'm gonna use this example because it happens. Stop shaking your head, Vic. How when I'm not saying all guys do this, because they don't. All guys do not do this. But when you have those guys that try to holler at you, LJ, you know,
right. No respect.
No respect. Right. Hey, yo, shawty, what's up? Can I get your number? You know,
I'm not your baby.
Right. What time? You know, you got some nice legs. What time they open? You know, so.
I'm gonna use that.
Don't because you will get cut.
Exactly.
And so when she doesn't respond, his next response is, well, F you, B. You know, and it's like, well, for what? Just because I didn't respond to your gesture of the fact that you came at me like that. And so that tells me that there's something wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with me per se, but the way he responded, just because I didn't say anything to him or acknowledge him. What's wrong with him? And so as a community, we're going around, we're broken and we're breaking each other. And women, you know, even vice versa, with women doing stuff to guys that will break them. Can you give me an example, Philovic, with an example
of how a woman will break me?
How
emotionally
impossible.
Yeah.
Sorry.
an example in terms of saying how a woman can be rude to you or disrespect you.
Just with the simple greeting, sometimes automatically you assume I'm trying to holler. That's using your lingo? Okay. So sometimes I just think the interaction, sometimes you want to be nice. You can just simply say hi, but most people take a hi as, oh, I'm flirting. Or sometimes how I say it.
So are you saying it with your...
Yeah.
Hey,
you
good evening.
Wait, right. How are you saying it? Like you on the quiet storm?
It depends on the time of day. Sometimes the timbre of my voice may portray something that's not, but I could just be tired. But I'm still trying to be nice. So given the time of day, sometimes just a regular greeting can be taken as, oh, I'm trying to holler now. You just ignore me and keep going.
But I think it gets back to what you were just saying. We're so inundated with the negative comments, just driving down the street. If I work out outside, it's a horn. So I have to now kind of decide where I work out because I don't want some man trying to pull the car over. So I think it's a lot of those things kind of entangled. But in terms of the brokenness, it's so difficult because I think we all, not all, but a majority of us start from a point of brokenness, even just in terms of how we grew up. When you look at just statistics and not just the Black community, we're looking at the general community, white, Asian, and Hispanic. Most people are born into homes where it's just female-led, it's just a mother, and with the lack of the father figure, I think it's all these issues entangled. So you don't have the examples. Little girls don't have the security of this strong man telling her, I love you. This is how a man is supposed to treat you and cherish you. And then in turn, young boys don't have the example of the father holding the car door open, just having his hand in the small of the back of his mother, just showing the love and the respect. So we need to, and I think it's just society in general, that there's just overall lack of courtesy and respect, and then that bleeds into our personal and interpersonal relationships.
And I think that because of sin, that we all are broken. And I will always say that we all come from some sort of dysfunction.
Absolutely.
Whether if we have two parents in the home, one parent in the home, a grandparent, we all come from some sort of dysfunction. And I think when we begin to realize that, that's when we need to fix it. Because when we grow up, opposed to saying, because a lot of people say, well, this is just who I am.
Right.
This is who my parents were, so this is who I am. Opposed to recognizing, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to work on me.
Change.
Maybe I need to mature. Maybe I need to grow. Maybe I need to stretch. And granted, yes, it does not negate what we came from.
Right.
But it does allow us to build on what we came from and say, you know what? I did grow up in this, but I don't have to stay in this. And so many people, they don't see that they can break free from it. And then you have those people who don't even recognize their brokenness.
Absolutely. Until they keep getting into relationships that fail over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Or they're in denial.
Yeah.
Of being broken.
Yeah. They'll say something like, well, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay with this.
It's him, it's them.
Right. It's him, it's her.
Blaming everybody else.
Yes, blame everybody.
But
Just
yourself.
like, it's interesting. I was talking to a friend this week on the phone, and I was talking about the story of Cain and Abel, of how God is so interested in relationships with us that he'll come after us, not to punish us, but to create that relationship with us. So, of course, Cain, God required an animal sacrifice. And Cain decided that, he wasn't going to bring an animal sacrifice. Cain was like, whatever, I don't care. Abel was like, he brought the animal sacrifice. Cain said, I'm going to bring vegetables. And so that's what he did. And God said to him at that very moment, well, Cain, why do you look sad? If you do what I require, then I'll accept you. I've already gave you my standard. So that's the standard that you have to meet. And Cain was so upset with God. He probably didn't say anything back to God at that moment, but he was so upset with God that he went and killed his brother. And so at that moment when God said, Cain, just do what I require, that's God reaching out to him saying, I want a relationship with you. But Cain took that as, oh, I'm not good enough. So he takes it out on Abel. And then God comes back to him again and says, Cain, where's your brother at? And God wasn't asking him this question because he didn't know the answer. And he wasn't even asking Cain because he was looking for an answer from Cain. He was looking to reach out to Cain to get a relationship from him. He didn't even come to Cain at that moment to punish him. He was like, I want a relationship from you. Where's your brother? But what did Cain do? Cain was like,
I'm not my brother's keeper.
Exactly. I ain't my brother's keeper. So he bucks back at God, opposed to recognizing what he has done wrong, opposed to saying, God, I did wrong. And that's exactly how we act. We buck back at that person. When that person reflects to us who we are, we buck back at them and be like, well, it's something wrong with you. Well, you need to fix you. And it's crazy because my friend pointed out to me, he was like, yeah, Cain did exactly what his dad did. He passed the blame.
Right. So the cycle continues.
The cycle continues.
And I think you said the word reflection. And I think sometimes it's going to take like a mirror test where you actually have to look in the mirror. And you might not like what you see. Maybe you have to start thinking about what that man, that last relationship, whoever, what your girlfriends are saying.
Right.
Watch where you point your hand.
Are you scared? Are you scared? I'm sorry.
She's
I'm sorry.
She's like,
But-
girlfriends. Watch what your girlfriends are saying.
But
Right.
even when you know of some female that they say they have like classic B face that just sitting there, they just don't look very pleasant.
Right.
So I think
Yeah.
sometimes you just really have to look in the mirror and really start thinking about, and that whole process, things are going to go through your mind in terms of, what did he say? What did she say? What did my mother say? What did my father say? What did my sister say? And it takes maturity. So you're going to have to go through some stuff to really get to the point where you can admit your brokenness, as you were saying earlier, and then do something about it.
Yeah. We have to do that self-evaluation. And if we don't have that maturity mindset,
Right.
then we'll forever point the finger and forever pass the blame and forever stay stuck.
Right.
Come on, guys. Let me hear what y'all got to say. Victor over there thinking, man. I can see it.
Oh man, I'm just back on that whole the Cain and Abel story.
Yeah.
With the I forgot the word you pointed out.
Reflection?
With the reflection, yeah. And so then I also forgot the point I was going to think. Come on. No.
I'm thinking for him tonight. I'm thinking for two. I'm thinking for two.
No, so basically just reflection. And God's still reaching out for that relationship, even though he had done wrong. And so a lot of times in our sin, thank you. Appreciate that. A lot of times, in our sin, it is easier to push the blame on someone else, but still knowing that, you are forgiven, or still knowing that God still loves you. I'm just going through all these times that, I've kind of reflected stuff and I've put stuff on other people. But even in my sin, knowing that, the same way God loves me, the same way God loves them. So yes, I am thinking, but I can't really go into anything else right now.
And you go ahead, Phil.
No, I was going to say introspection is a really big thing.
Right.
In not just relationships, but just your personal walk
Mm-hmm.
and your spiritual walk. Because if you don't, and maturity is what you mentioned a while ago, is very important as well. So, because if you're not mature enough to be able to look into the mirror and realize your faults, then you're just walking around the world like, yeah, I'm the big guy. I don't have any problems. I don't deal with anything. I'm not struggling. You have the issue. and then you walk around just hurting people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because hurt people continue to hurt people.
Yep.
Correct.
And you pointed out, Victor, how God has the same love for that person as he has for you. And how can we begin to transfer? Brian, we've been talking over these past few months, man. These conversations have been so deep, like after the show, just talking about this unconditional love. How do we as people begin to love another person unconditionally? And especially when it comes to relationships, why is it that I can love my child unconditionally, but I can't love my man unconditionally? Or he can love his child unconditionally, but he can't love his woman unconditionally?
I think it goes back to the foundation, just like what Phil was saying. So, if you are a believer and you follow what the word says, just in terms of the basic level of respect, and then in terms of roles, and I'm not the most traditional person, but there comes a point, again, when you're just looking at respect, that some things you just concede. You can't always be right, even though I'm always right, but you can't always be right. Yeah. Sometimes you just have to let things go and just know that it will be all right. So you pick your battles. You choose your words carefully, so we know how words can cut and hurt. And again, I keep going back to it's really about the maturity level. Can I tell a quick story? So I think it also really quick. It really when you said it, how do we create love? I think we start small in terms of communities. So this week, a couple of days ago, my girlfriend called me and told me that somebody drove up on her street. She lives in the suburbs in Maryland, a nice neighborhood, and threw a woman out of the car. Okay, so I'm a criminologist, so my crime mind is thinking that it's domestic violence, so it's a boyfriend, a husband, something of that nature. She was thinking that perhaps it was a pimp and a prostitute. Regardless of what it was, that you have no respect for human life, that you're just going to throw somebody out of a car. And she was seriously hurt, bleeding, crying. But again, I think that that's the point where, not just as women, all the people that were there, the neighbors on the block, we need to take this hurt person in and love on her and make sure she gets the help and the resources she needs so that she can start to heal from her brokenness. And hopefully that will, be infectious to her networks. And then we need to start working on the person that, threw her out of the car. Who would do something like that? They are at the height of brokenness to do that to another human being, and quite possibly somebody you said you love, somebody you said I do to, maybe somebody you had children with. But I think it really has to start small, and then we grow.
I was responding to a comment, a post I had put up on my Instagram page, and I don't remember exactly what the post said, but I was talking about how I'm learning that everyone loves differently.
Correct.
Everyone, if I could place love on a scale of 1 to 10, some people are at a 1, some people are at a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. People are at a different spot in love. And if you have someone that's at a 3, but you're at a 5, then and that person at the 3 tells you that they love you, you're probably looking at them like, no, you don't. Because this is not how I read love. But honestly, that person that's at a 3, in their mind, they are loving you the best that they can. And so as I'm learning this whole thing about love and the different levels that we possibly love at, because that's still conditional love there with that scale, is that I can only accept what they can give. And they can only give what they got. And it's not until we begin to love at an 11, that Christ love, that unconditional love, will we be able to really experience love. Because love is so, as 1 Corinthians says, love is patient, love is kind, it's gentle, it's selfless, it's so many things.
Long suffering.
It's long, right? And how long is long?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So what do you do when you're in a relationship and you figure out that the person you're with isn't at the same level. What do you do?
Can we, in my mind, I would ask the question, can you love them with the love of Christ? I'm just reminded of when Paul talks about how when you have an unbeliever and a believer that's already married, and Paul says, stay in it. You know, if that's where God has found you,
Right.
stay in it.
Right.
Because you can now win that unbeliever over. So is there a possibility that if we're at a level higher than the person that we're in a relationship with, that we can help them to get to a higher level if we take on the love of Christ and show them the love of Christ?
I would say yeah.
I'm going to say yes, but if there's violence, there's an exception to that rule.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. If there's violence, you're not going to stay in that. I don't think God wants you to stay there. You know, you're constantly getting your head knocked up every night. Yeah. Definitely wouldn't stay there.
But let's just take violence out of it. But it's still a tough situation.
But then they're going to go into, you know, you have to be equally yoked, and then you got to find that. Then you got to go into characteristics.
So then we try to justify why we can't love this person and stand in a
Or why we
relationship.
leave.
Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But once you're married, you're married. So I mean, I don't know. I can't speak up on marriage.
Because we have to really begin to look at love differently than what the world looks at it. The Bible tells us that we have to be transformed in our mind. We have to be renewed in our mind, because if Christ is telling us that this is love is long suffering.
Right.
See, you asked a question a bit earlier about how can we love people unconditionally, and I think you're getting at it right now. Is we have to understand that people are hurt out there,
Right.
and that may be the reason why they treat other people that way.
Absolutely.
So once we understand that they're hurt, then we're looking at it from a different perspective now. And so we are showing the love. We are the love in their life. And this is not just for relationships. It's anybody. And so once they begin to see that love, they choose to accept it or not, but they're still getting it.
Right. Right.
And
I think showing somebody love will in turn allow them to go into deep introspection.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
because I see it as either
At some
they
point.
will pick up on that love or they'll just turn
Yeah.
away, period.
Right. At some
Yeah.
point, they'll make
They'll
a decision.
just leave. Yeah.
So I think that's one way that you show unconditional love. Just by understanding that the other person across the room probably doesn't know what love is, or they're not consciously aware that they're hurting people and that they themselves are hurt. So once you understand that, then you can say, okay, I'm going to love this person regardless of what happens, regardless of the way they treat me. And hopefully they'll reciprocate that love.
And that's coming out of self,
Right.
because self says that, oh, I'm not going to take this. You
Yep.
know, when we really begin to think of it, like, oh, I'm not going to take this.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I know
when
my
you're
worth.
when you're on it, when you're at the job and your boss is like yelling at you and cussing and just treating you bad, your immediate response is to say, you know what, I'm gonna quit. Like, I hate this job.
I got
But you don't
bills.
know.
I know.
Yeah, like,
bills.
but then I got bills, right?
My bills ain't that
That should
bad.
be the first thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
My bills
That's
ain't
the
that
first
bad.
thing
I'm
that you think.
Yeah.
You know, and then but we never think, well, what's going on in
Where
their
is that
life?
coming from? Yeah. Where is
You know,
that coming
is their
from?
spouse causing this? Are their kids causing this? What are they going through personally? We never think about that. So
And when we begin to look at it from a different perspective,
Absolutely.
then we can change our mindset. But why is it that we can quickly run from a quote unquote what's supposed to be a committed relationship than anything else in life? We don't run from our job like that. We don't treat our boss like we treat the one we're in relationship with. Why is it that when it comes to the relationship to the person that we're supposed to be building with and loving on, the person that we tell them I love you, and I want to be with you. You know, why is it that we can treat them so bad, but then treat the people on the outside so quote unquote good?
I don't think any of us treat anyone bad.
Okay, explain.
So once again, you come into a relationship with your own mindset of how you want things to go. I'm gonna generalize this one, but women always say how there's a lack of communication, and
All women?
I said women.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean all. I didn't say
Okay.
all, but they always say there's that lack of communication,
man.
and so you're trying to communicate. Or sometimes people don't try to communicate, and if we go with your role and you show them constant love, there's always that it's not coming in the way that I want to receive it, or it's not coming how I think it should look, and so you're always going to be clashing. Real quick, what was your question again, so I don't digress?
How is it that we can treat the one we're in
Yes,
relationship?
thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you
you.
got it. Okay,
So I think how we can treat the one in the relationship that we're with badly. It's not treating them badly. It's just it comes across, and it's that perception. It's like, you know, I don't think it's badly. I don't treat anyone badly, but I know.
Okay.
I can't speak for myself. But it's just how we view things. You don't have that. I think in your book, that conversation of you have to address certain issues, and sometimes you don't take the time into considering the other person. It's all about yourself, what you can get out of this. And so if you feel as though, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong here, then you don't see it as wrong. And so they might see it's wrong, but you have to listen to the person and what they say,
opposed
to what I think is right.
Sometimes
Right.
it's just because it's the closest person to you. So
You take
it's your
everything
spouse,
down.
the person you live with, and I come home, something bad happened at work, Phil's there. He says something, what? You didn't cook, you didn't this, you didn't that.
Lash
It's just,
out.
you lack. It's the person closest to you. And then you also think that I can do and say whatever I want. He's with me. He's going to stay with me. But, repeated patterns
too
of
comfortable.
abuse,
Right, too
correct?
comfortable, yeah.
Then you're going to leave. So I think it's just, we're just used to just parents, children, siblings, you take it out on your siblings, and it's just because we don't learn. We don't learn. We wouldn't want it. Again, it's the mirror. We would not want to be treated that way. So I think sometimes we just need to slow down.
Yeah, that's so important that we need to slow down and really just take a step back
Absolutely.
and look and process everything that
Process, yes.
we're thinking before it comes out. And you brought up a point about communication, and we all communicate differently, and we will clash on communicating. And it's like, how much patience, because again, love is patient. So how much patience will we need to have in order to sit there and really hear not just the person's words, but hear the person's heart, hear what they're really saying, hear what they really want to get across. And go ahead.
Maybe was that?
No, she's talking about you.
So I think it's the conversations that we have at the beginning of relationships. So instead of talking about what your favorite color is, what you like to eat,
It's like, we don't talk
I
about
don't
that.
care about
right? It's not important. What is important is that maybe, like you said, you process things differently in terms of the way I like to communicate versus the way you like to communicate. I work in a male-dominated field. Most of my friends are men. I communicate a little differently
Get that with
than most women. Men may say, and I'll generalize this time,
Thank you.
that women talk a lot
Oh,
and
yeah,
use
that's
a lot
cool.
of
That's cool.
words, right?
I'm not-
yeah,
I'm not offended.
You're not offended, okay? Sorry, ladies. But so I think those conversations need to happen earlier in terms of how is this relationship going to look? How is it going to unfold? And are you even going to be able to deal with me
Right.
and what I'm bringing to the table, as opposed to, how much money you make, what kind of car you drive, how you dress, where you live. A criminal record is important. Okay. So,
Oh, you actually do those?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
she's
I have Googled
We want-
somebody
Yeah.
in front of them. I found a criminal
She
record.
does the
You can just
background
run. You can
checks
just
on
run a
Instagram.
license plate. Come on
Google.
now. Yeah.
Start
I
at
don't have that
Google.
access.
That's dangerous.
I know.
What's dangerous? Doing a background check on somebody?
Yeah, I
You should do it. You should. I believe in Googling.
Yeah.
I believe in Googling people.
Yes,
Very
I will
important.
Google somebody in a
Yeah.
minute.
Just,
Y'all
just the
won't Google
pictures.
nobody?
Just the pictures alone that you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't date
We're
strangers.
not going to admit
so.
that.
You don't date strangers.
You're not going to admit it?
Yeah.
Oh, so that means that
You
you,
could
do
be
it.
with somebody
Okay.
forever and they're a stranger.
That's,
They
yeah.
do something so out of
Strange-
character.
How?
Yeah.
So out of character.
That's just being out of character. They're not a stranger.
Is it? That you're going to wake up and I don't know you. That they do
Yeah, I
something
don't know
so
about
crazy.
That
How old
So
are you,
you,
Phil?
so you wouldn't
Yeah.
I don't
Google
know
at
about
all?
that.
Yeah. I
Google.
suggest
What
you
am I
Google.
Googling?
Google.
The person.
For what?
Google him,
Why not?
ladies. Yeah.
What am I going to Google them about? If I know that, like I said, I date people that I know.
Okay.
But how deeply
you
do
know
you know?
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her question, how deeply do you know them?
Well, deep enough to date them, right? I'm comfortable
guess
enough
it's
being
good
seen
to-
in public
All
with
right.
them and
Yeah, we're talking
interacting
about,
with
We're talking
them.
about just dating, though. That's surface. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
you.
that's surface level.
Yeah.
You know?
Because the questions you were saying, it was just like, how far do you get to that point to start asking certain questions? Because if I don't know if I want to date you or not, I'm not going to ask you certain questions. If I'm still trying to figure out, you know what, do I like the natural hair? I don't know.
Do I like bald men? I don't know.
It's the end thing.
No, but
So it's just it's like, you know, if I don't know that I actually want to date you and I'm still
Right.
trying to figure this stuff, I'm not
Right.
going to ask you all those serious questions. Because you start asking serious questions, oh, this guy's serious.
Yep.
no, but I think you know when you really like somebody that you're even going to put the effort in. If it's just somebody you're going to dinner with once in a while, it doesn't matter. But if it's somebody that you think you could see long term, you know, longer than 6 months, longer than a year, maybe a marriage potential, those are conversations you're going to
On the
have.
first date.
I never
Well,
said
yeah.
the first
I know,
date.
I know.
Right.
Put
Yeah.
it
So
on.
I mean,
Go
you
ahead.
you just have to allow the conversation to flow
Of course.
because whether if it's a first date, second, third, or fourth, different conversations are going to come up. You know, especially if we're out and about. And you typically take your conversations based off of what you see.
Right.
So different things are going to come up. I think it's important to be real opposed to trying to wear this mask. Because everybody's trying to hide behind this mask and everybody's trying to put this fake person, I guess, forward. Yeah. With this whole facade. And it's like, okay, well, now we've been dating for 6 months and all of a sudden, you know, it's like, well, where did this come from? So I think it's important that we are who we are up front so that we won't try to trick this person into, I guess, liking us or, you know, making them think that we're someone that we're not. And that's, I guess that even goes back to the brokenness. Because we're broken, we don't want people to see our
The real
brokenness.
you.
Yeah, the real
right.
us, yeah.
Right.
And so we try to put this stuff up, and if you broke and you ain't got no money, okay.
I'm just looking at you. That's all. I'm just being engaging. Go ahead.
You know, so it's not to say that you're always going to be broke.
Right.
You know, people lose stocks, people lose money all the time.
Right.
So I think it's important for us to be who we are. And going back to the whole love thing, I think if we, and I talk about it in my book in terms of just being genuine friends, because I think we try to rush past that stage of just being
Agreed.
genuine friends.
Yeah.
And when you're genuinely friends, you're not trying to put up a facade. You're not trying to put on this mask. You're just chill and you're you. Opposed to you're trying to impress somebody because either you're trying to, and again, that's the selfishness because you're trying to gain something. So you try to put this best foot forward.
So maybe we need to take it back, and before you can get to love, you have to start with like. So when you're talking about friends, if this is going to be your mate, you have to like them too, so that when they do things that really bother you,
Right.
you know, you can see past it because you love them so deeply. And I think a lot of people say that I love him or I love her, but they don't even like each other. You know, you can even see it on people's faces, like in restaurants, you know, when you're out.
Yeah.
So
They're both on their phone, not even talking to each other.
Or the look, they roll their
Yeah.
eyes and
So the one chapter in your book that I didn't really like. No,
Did you
just
love
kidding.
it?
No, it was of course. No, I liked the chapter. But creating that
I asked you,
genuine.
did you love it?
I mean, love. The way I love is different from the way you love. So it's
So tell me.
Good answer.
I mean,
how do you love? Yeah.
no. Back to the chapter. So
My man.
So
Trying to
when
get
you talk
caught
about
up.
creating a genuine friendship initially, that has been one of the most difficult areas. No, it hasn't. Well, it has. It's been very difficult to establish that friendship, and so you wanna establish a friendship. And I have friends, but then when I have people who I'm interested in and I pursue, then it's like, well, you want to treat everybody like a friend, but of course, some people just they never really had a genuine male friend or a platonic male friend. And so everything you do is like, just they're always excited. It's always new. Sometimes they're making advances because it's what they're used to. Maybe it might be what they're used to. Let me phrase that if you made that noise.
I'm just sitting here. I don't know.
Hey, it was that.
Okay.
So basically, just trying to establish those friendships. It's always been. I have a lot of friends like you. I have a lot of lady friends in my circle. But when you're trying to date someone and just trying to establish that friendship, now you're treating them like a regular friend, and so you have to treat them a little bit differently,
Right.
Because they want to feel special. Oh, I'm sorry. They want to feel special and not like every other friend. So if they see you have a lot of friends, trying to make them another one of your friends. I remember somebody said, I don't want to be in your harem,
Wow.
And so
That's wild.
It's like now, okay, I can't even establish
That's
a
right.
friendship here. So
So-
now
so-
you have to approach it totally different from a friendship.
so you're talking about somebody that you're trying to pursue, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone I'm trying to pursue.
Okay.
And so just establishing that friendship has always been difficult because, well, you have all these other friends. What am I? Another friend. So now you have to do stuff that's more like, okay, relationship. Or better yet, you're probably going to say, well, you got to be intentional. And then
Are you reading my mind?
You gotta go like
I would say you may have to watch the way that you even interact with your other genuine friends. I think that's what it may be about.
I know, I get that.
Because if you're treating them
The
why you
same,
shaking-
yeah.
right, if you're treating them the
There's just
same,
some
then
difference.
yeah, I can see how she say I don't want to be part of your harem.
Yeah. Okay.
Or maybe you just come
No,
off
you
really
do.
flirty with all.
I'm just nice.
So and then
just stay
so
you,
have
bitch.
to stay-
It's just
stay-
being nice. But you
Yeah.
tell me to stay yourself, right?
Stay yourself.
Yeah,
I
but
stay
tell them that.
myself.
Tell them that you are.
You're
being
good.
yourself.
And then you have to be
Yeah.
chivalrous to everybody, right?
Exactly.
Right.
You should always be
You
a
cover
kind
everybody,
person.
right?
Yeah.
When you're out,
Yep.
Yeah.
Be
Okay.
nice
so
to everybody.
yeah. Okay, but now
So
you
don't
make me in
change.
the face now.
So
I'm not going to
well,
incriminate myself.
I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you the question: how do you differentiate if you have a lot of female friends,
Mm-hmm.
but then you have a woman that you're trying to pursue? How do you differentiate?
You know what? I probably brought this question up on myself. No, to differentiate, I used to always say, well, they get most of my time. They get first dibs, which is a wrong way of saying it. But
I get what you're saying, okay.
They get,
My man.
I'm there. I'm there. That's the person who I talk to the most.
Okay.
Person I talk to the most. We do most of the things separate. But with the differentiating, I don't know. It's difficult until, I don't know. I guess until you get to that point, hey, we're married, so and so. I know I got to curtail some friends, but I don't want to incriminate myself, so I don't know what to say now.
I want you to say what you need to say
Yeah.
because again, if she's trying to understand, well, are you pursuing me?
Yeah.
Or are you pursuing me and these other girls? Because if it looks
If
the
it looks
same,
like a duck, it talks
right?
like a duck.
Exactly. Does
It's
it
not
look
always
the same?
true.
Are you sure
I'm
that is
positive.
not the same?
That's
Because for a
This is-
woman to say that I don't want to be part of your harem,
Go
then
ahead. Talk.
there's a possibility that it does look the same.
But there probably wasn't any communication before that, because if you're the
right?
guy
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and you say at the outset, I am actually pursuing you. I want to do this long term. Then her mindset will change now. Okay, he's actually pursuing me. He's serious about me, as opposed to these other girls.
Yeah.
Even though she knows that they're around.
Yeah.
But then if your actions now, there's no difference. Then I can see where she's gonna question.
yeah.
You're supposed to be on my side, man.
No, I'm on your side. I'm always on your side, man. My man.
All right. No, yeah.
So I think that communication is important.
It is.
Yeah, it's always
And
important.
setting those boundaries with your other female
other girls,
friends
yeah.
are important as well. Because if you're, if you're showing me as a woman, if you're showing the attention that I think I should get, then yeah, I'm going to question, well, are you pursuing us all and you're just trying to play me?
What kind of attention should you get?
Yeah.
So you
Well, what
said
is
in terms
attention you're
of
giving them?
we're spending most of our time together. Okay, so I take that as you're pursuing me.
Yeah.
But if you're also taking probably the equal amount of time to spend with them, then
not
I'm like,
equal.
okay, well, what's really going on?
It's never equal. In a
But how would
pursuit.
you know? How would you know that you're?
Because she's Googling.
I guess, and she's doing the
sees
background
sees
check.
all the pictures of you.
She got all the detectives
Right,
and
see,
stuff.
your picture, see all the
Golly.
pictures with you posted
Yeah,
up
with all the
women,
girls,
so
yeah.
It's like, well, what are you really doing? And I think it goes back to, you said a key word, protecting ourselves. If love protects, and we do love ourselves, but if we talk about wanting to love other people, we have to start protecting those people too.
Absolutely.
Because I think a lot of times we will go and pursue somebody just for our own selfish benefit. And so, yes, I will ask you the question, what do you want from me? What do you want? Do you want a long-term relationship, short-term friendship? Let me know. You want to do a business deal? What do you want from me? That's the question.
And I think it's a fair question.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a fair
So when
question.
do you ask that question first?
As soon as you approach me, what do you want?
Not as soon as you.
Really?
I don't
Yes.
even know you like that yet.
I'm
But,
just gonna walk
okay,
the other
you're
way, Linda. I'm
approaching
telling you
me.
right now.
You're
Yo, Linda,
approaching
I want to
me.
talk to you.
What's up? What you want?
Like
I'm
that
gone. I ain't talking to you. Forget it.
Didn't you say in your
Because
book?
again, like I said, do you want a business deal? What do you want? Make your intentions known.
Right off the bat, huh?
Yeah.
I just saw you.
You just saw me. And if you say, well, I just saw you.
It's all lust.
I
and
would-
I'm gonna say what my
It's
intentions
all lust.
are. It's
Exactly.
all lust.
Like it don't
Okay.
work. It
you
don't
gotta
work
give
that
me.
way.
You gotta give me a window.
You gotta.
I don't know you yet.
You gotta go out on a date.
You might be shy.
And
Try to
so,
get to know the person, and then you can expose
Begin.
what your expectations
Yeah.
are.
right. And that's fine. However, when you approach somebody, you already know before you even approach them, you know that you want to approach them.
Yeah.
So you know a little bit of something. I'm not asking you to commit to me when you approach. No, I'm asking you, what do you want? That's just like when my child come in my room and she say, well, mommy, off the bat, what you want? You want something. You came to me because you want something.
You smiled.
You want ice cream?
All right,
What you-
so I'm gonna
you
do
want a
that with every single
conversation?
female that comes up to me.
What do you want?
Or messages me on social media.
You can say like,
What do you
oh,
want?
what's up? That's how I do it a lot of times. Oh, what's up? Somebody say hi. Hey, what's up?
I'll be a jerk.
Do you
if I
actually
do
say
that.
what do you want though?
What do you want?
Sometimes it depends on how long we've known each other.
Okay.
This one guy I was talking to, I didn't ask him what he wanted his first approach.
But
Eventually, yeah. And not too long after that,
Yeah.
because the way he came at me made me think he wanted a relationship. So, yes, I asked him off the bat to be clear on what he wanted so I wouldn't assume.
Right.
Because, we don't want to assume things. So, yeah, I asked him, so what's up? What do you want
it's
from
like
me?
the single guy's worst question
Yeah.
ever. What do you want?
Where is this going?
Why?
Where
Is it-
going?
Where is this going?
Well, that's,
Am I your
but
girlfriend?
That's
Right.
two different questions, though. That's two different questions. Because, like I said, do you want to do business with me? Do you want to take me out? Do you want to just be friends? I'm trying to understand where to put you in the category.
So
Okay.
I want to get to know you.
Okay.
On what level?
I wouldn't even ask
see,
him
now
what
we're getting
level.
too far now.
But
I
see,
can't
I
make
wouldn't even
friends.
ask.
Like that.
Exactly.
If you say I want to get to know you, I'd be like, okay, cool. And then we'll move on.
Okay. So then I have to ask a date and plan a date and everything else. And
Yeah, if you want to get to
Okay.
know me, how else you going to get to know me?
Plan and date.
yeah, you gotta plan the date. You
Has
know,
to be
men gotta
planned.
plan the date.
Men gotta
and
plan the
everything.
date.
No, can it just be organic?
Organic
don't
is
work that
nice. Organic is nice if we happen to be at the same place and like, hey, let's move over here, and then you make it a date,
Right.
which means I'm paying. But-
Exactly.
But yeah.
So yeah, it's all about I'm just literally asking an innocent question.
What do you want?
Yeah, what do
There's
you want?
so much behind that question.
It's loaded. It's a
But,
loaded
but
question.
so don't let it be though. Don't let it be loaded, because if your intentions are good, then you shouldn't be afraid to say what you want.
But they don't
I mean,
know.
that's true.
But they don't know you. I think it's.
I like you.
Now.
Okay.
Because
So if you approach a woman, you approach her. Why? Why do you approach her?
Because she's attractive.
Okay.
And you want to get to know her.
Then that's the answer.
But
See
then
how
you,
It's not
simple
that
that is?
simple.
but then it's
No.
not.
No,
it's
it
not
is that simple.
though.
You
So
can't
if
think
I
in black
say,
and white.
"Hey, what's up?" You know,
See, the hey, what's up is different than you saying, what do you want? Because I think that would put my back up and I might not continue doing what I'm doing in terms of, can I buy you a drink? Do you come here often? I don't know what people say. But
Stupid stuff like
it's,
that.
yeah, but it seems like your defenses are up and you might not want to go further than just that. But if you say, hey, what's up? That I think that's a little different. So it's tone, intention. But I mean, it's not easy.
and I think when someone, excuse me, depending on their approach, if I feel as if they're trying to be sneaky, then yes, I'm going to say, "What do you want?" Because you here for something. What you want?
Your discernment is that
Then
good.
she cutthroat, man.
I mean,
you
I'm
can,
going
you
to
can
get to the
generally
point.
tell, yeah.
Yeah, you can tell.
This is the second time I've seen
Can you tell when a female has an ulterior motive?
No,
Me either, man.
it comes towards the end.
They just so natural.
The end of the
Oh,
relationship.
naturally cunning,
or
huh?
what?
Pretty much.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I can, for instance, like again, going back to my daughter, if I hear her trying to, what I assume to be flatter, I'm not the type of person, you can't flatter me. I'm sorry. Because flattery is automatically going to make that question come out. What do you want?
But what if you just smooth with it?
Yeah.
Like,
Again, if it's flattery. So my daughter's friend, she got in the car one day and she was like, "Oh, Miss Lowe, you're so nice." And I immediately said to her, "What do you want?"
It's the voice
That's
going
all.
up.
You're
The
trying
voice
to
going
you're
up.
trying to flatter me to
ask
get
the
me to
question.
do
Yeah.
right, to ask a question, to get me to do something. Just come out. See, I'm the type of person, don't beat around the bush. Come straight out with it.
Okay.
She wanted me to tighten up her hair,
they gotta feel you. They gotta feel you
Yeah,
out.
because
Yeah.
they don't know that initially. They'll never know that initially.
but then they'll
yeah.
know when I say,
To
"Well,
come
what do you
correct.
want?" Come at me straight, because I'm gonna come at you straight.
I need more time to discuss this.
And so I think it's important. Again, I'm not saying that I'm asking you for a committed relationship. I'm just understanding, okay, you approach me, hey, what's up? You know? And depending on your approach will determine my response.
Absolutely. Okay.
So how should I approach you, Linda?
Be like, what's up?
Isn't that
Hello?
a cat call? Isn't that a
Hello?
cat call?
Yeah.
Right.
You just
That's not
talked
a
about
cat
that
call,
being
right?
disrespectful. Hey, yo, shorty, what's up?
I ain't say shorty.
She didn't say shorty.
I
She
ain't
did
say-
not say shorty. Yeah.
I'm
I
just
can't use
saying,
shorty,
when
baby,
you
honey, nothing
approach
like that.
someone,
No.
you know, you don't want to have this ulterior motive because some people can definitely sense that. And it will, and it's almost like you're putting them on the defense when you come to them in a certain way. But like I was saying, in terms of, and we do, our first instinct is to protect ourselves.
Absolutely.
Because you already have friends. I can't just approach you for friendship.
Yeah, you can.
Okay. How
And
far is that gonna get me?
if,
Not very.
but if,
Yeah.
but my thing is be honest. I love honesty above a lot of things. And if you are interested in a friendship and the question comes out, hey, what's up? What do you want? And you say, I want to be friends. I'm like, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to.
That's like 1% of females that are just cool with being friends.
You got to get the right one then.
And if
yeah.
you've already crossed boundaries, then what? You
When-
can't
That's
still
a
be
different
friends.
question. That's a different
Because
question.
after a while,
Right.
somebody's gonna catch feelings.
Yeah.
Usually the female, in my experiences.
Yeah.
If you just want to be friends, for someone to catch feelings, you got to be doing something for them to
a
catch
lot
feelings.
more. Yeah. A lot more.
Because I'm not
Like
catching
what?
feelings with my friends. I talk to my friends, guy friends, every once in a while, sometimes more often than usual.
Are these people that you met within, I don't know, the year?
When you say what you mean.
So when I make a friend, right, that'll be literally, okay, like somebody in the audience. I walk up to them, a female in the audience, and I walk up to them and say, hey, how you doing? I want to be friends, you know, just generally, right? And we become friends. Over time, from what my experience has been, the female would catch feelings.
How much time are y'all spending together?
And what are you
we're
doing
not
together?
spending-
what are you
Yeah.
We're not doing anything extra. We're just friends.
So
But
give-
again,
it's just
give me an example
examples,
of
yeah.
how much time you're spending talking to each other. What are you doing
But does it
when you're
matter?
talking? Yes,
Of course it
does
matters.
matter.
Of course it
Because
matters.
if you're giving me the impression that you're
But I already told you
no,
that I
Doesn't
wanna be
matter.
friends.
Actions
it doesn't matter.
speak
It's
louder than words.
So yes, you've already
Yeah.
told me that you want to be friends, but your actions are saying that you want something else. And that's another place where my question will come up. What do you want?
But communication was there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's possible that you're sending a mixed message.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, because I'm not just going to catch feelings if we're friends.
So after every outing,
I don't know if that's
you do
so
a
true.
recap. And
So
yes,
did I?
Yes. We went horseback riding today.
No.
Or we went to a concert today. So
So
after
let
this,
me ask you a question. What are activities and conversations and stuff that you would just set aside for somebody that you're pursuing opposed to somebody that you're just being friends with?
You can literally do anything that you do with a friend with somebody that you're trying to take seriously.
No.
I think so because they got to be your friend
yeah.
first before you get serious in dating them,
Yeah.
and which will in turn lead to marriage. So I think anything you do with a friend, you should be able to do with somebody that you're dating, and vice versa. So except for
Except for the
once you get married,
weekend getaways
married,
and
and then
stuff.
the weekend getaways.
Yeah.
Except for that,
Yeah.
I think that you have to set those boundaries. Because if you do not want a woman to catch feelings, then you have to make sure that you're not doing anything for her to
well,
catch
she
feelings.
needs to set those boundaries for herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. Yes, those boundaries need to be set. However, because it takes two to communicate, you have to also make sure that you're not doing stuff to send that mixed message.
But I wouldn't know unless she tells me, hey, I'm the type of girl that catches feelings pretty quickly. Or if you do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to think that you're coming on to me.
Wow.
And that you want something more than friendship. You got to let me know, because I'm just going to treat you like a regular friend.
It's never
But
that
if-
clean. It's never that
It's never that clean, but it should be.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
Because then we complicate
on both
stuff.
ends, yes, boundaries do need to be set. And then also on the person, if you're just being friends with somebody, then you need to set boundaries and activities that you only do with friends opposed to somebody that you're trying to pursue.
I don't know, man.
So what
because,
happens
I
if-
mean, the only other thing is the weekend getaways.
Yeah. I just
What
wouldn't
else
do
would
that.
you do? Because you're not being intimate with that person. In
But what
any
about
other
what
setting.
about just touch? So not intimacy. What about the way you hug this person, or are you kissing this person on the cheek or the lips? You know, some friends, and even
Different
culturally,
cultures, yes.
right?
Cultures.
You kiss on the lips, but maybe that's taken as, oh, he really likes me.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? So when you're saying you do everything with friends, that you can do everything without it being complicated, I disagree. Even just the act of just
The way you touch
holding
someone.
somebody.
Don't touch me.
And
Hey.
I mean, I'm sorry.
You-
I didn't
why?
ask
'Cause
Were
you
you
to
doing after
mention.
this? Were you doing
I
after
didn't-
this?
You catch feelings easily?
Yeah, right. Okay. No, but I think it's the hug, holding on a little tighter. Victor has the Barry White voice. You
How you
know,
look at a
yeah,
person?
like
I don't know, man.
I just wanted to
What-
call and
what-
say happy
what-
birthday.
Voice
Or
has
what?
nothing to do with it.
What?
I'm being myself.
No. But again, you talked about perception.
I did,
You
I
talked
did.
about perception.
I did.
So some women might think, oh, he's really into me. He's using his sexy voice.
And yes,
you
I
know.
think we have to be mindful
See, nah.
of who we are. I think that's important, especially let's say you're a flirtatious person, but you don't mean anything behind it.
Nice.
Well,
No,
then,
no, no, no,
when
I'm
the
not saying-
female
She's not
needs to
saying you.
understand
No.
that.
But she can't understand if she's just meeting you
But she's going to get
as
to
a
know
person. But no, let's say that you don't even really you don't exchange numbers or anything. As a person that knows yourself, you need to set boundaries within yourself. And say, well, maybe if
Well, I'm
every
not gonna be
female
flirtatious, for
if
instance.
every female is reading this the same way, then maybe I need to change something that I'm doing.
All right.
So, how many times have I received the wrong message from a woman by looking at me the wrong way or calling me at a certain time? There's no communication there, right? No, there is communication, but I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it that way. Sometimes people just need to talk.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Sometimes she just needs to talk. Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. It's just, I think it's a stretch.
So again, we do have to set the boundaries for ourselves. You know, especially if we continue to get that same message over and over again from different people, then saying, okay, you know what? Well, the light bulb needs to go off in my head to say, well, maybe I need to change something because I don't want people to think that I'm coming on to them. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know.
I don't
man,
want to
because
send the wrong message.
If you already communicate from the beginning that you want to be friends, then you don't set boundaries with your other friends.
Sometimes you have to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just want to be friends. I just want to be friends.
But I don't naturally say that with my friends.
I've repeated that, and you know what happens? I got cursed out.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you keep reiterating that, and you get cursed out.
And so
I don't wanna
you
hear
stop
that.
being friends with this person?
You know, you
Depends
try
on
to
the
give them that
situation.
grace and mercy. Like, hey, I understand. I know your past. We've talked about this stuff.
Usually they would
No.
remove themselves from the situation.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, wow.
Because by that
I'm
by
not
that
alone.
time,
I'm not
yeah,
alone. That's great.
By that time, they had already caught feelings.
Right, exactly.
So
So they
then
probably
they
need
would
to. Yeah.
cut
Yeah.
you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
'Cause it might
Nah,
hurt.
that sucks for me because
Well,
I was
'cause you
genuinely
caught
trying to be a
feelings.
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
No, I didn't catch feelings. I just wanted to
Sounds
be a
like
friend.
feelings to me.
I wanted to be your friend, and then you had some other motives. Somewhere along the line, you caught feelings, and now I don't feel the same way that you do. So you're gonna cut me off. That sucks. That sucks for me.
Sounds like feelings.
It's
Yeah, you have feelings
but
because they are a
Feelings of
friend. You're
friendship.
trying to mold a friendship, and they saw it a different way.
Yeah, so again, I think it's important that we know what signs we're putting out there. Whether if we give a certain look, whether if we say, certain things. That's like me as a woman. I'm not going to do certain things with just my platonic friends that I would do with the guy that I'm in a relationship with. So I think it's important that we do set those boundaries on ourselves and be clear with ourselves. Again, going back to really knowing ourselves. And yes, we do want to be real, but we don't want to send those mixed messages. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
get
so
that. That's partial.
you know, I think I don't mean to take over your show or nothing, but since this is your last one, I think you should take the remaining time to close out and thank everybody listening to your show for so long.
Well, thank you, Phil.
I mean, I'm just trying to be a good
I
guy.
know.
You know?
Thank you, Phil. Look at you.
You know, good friends.
Good friends.
friends.
Yeah.
So I do want to thank you all for being on the show here talking about creating love. And I think it's so important that as people, as believers, that we grow and get to the point each and every day that we learn how to love unconditionally like Christ loved. 1 Corinthians says, love is not selfish. Love is gentle, it's kind. Right. It's not, love protects love. And so we have to really know and begin to understand what love is. And in order for us to do that, we have to come closer to God each and every day, because if we don't, we'll never understand what that love is, and we'll never be able to create that love relationship that we're really looking for. Honestly, as a community, as a Black community, as somebody who is looking for love, we do have to take ourselves out of it. And we do have to begin to fix our own brokenness and begin to heal within ourselves. And I want to thank you all so much for joining me here. This is my last show, like I said before. Now I'm going on break, and I'll be back in August. Definitely come to my website, www.lindadlowe.com. Check out all my stuff there. And like I said before, if you are interested in being on the show, let me know. Submit your topics. Let me know what you want us to talk about. Check out my book, Dating Smart, 9 Tips to Transform Your Crazy Dating Life, as I pick it up here. You can get it on Amazon. Again, follow me on social media. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. My website again is www.lindadlowe.com. Thank you again for joining the Linda D. Lowe Show, Girl Talk. Girl Talk, dating, parenting, spirituality. We're talking about all things pertaining to single women. And yes, married women, I got something for you too. No topic is off limits on the Linda D. Lowe Show.
To support this program and other programs on Bright Radio, visit our donations page at brightradio.org. That's BRITE radio.org. And thank you for listening to Bright Radio.